Hello everyone, myself Darsani, currently pursuing second year MCA in SNS College of Technology. In this video, we're going to see about K-means clustering algorithm case study. Let's start this by knowing what is K-means algorithm is. K-means algorithm is an unsupervised learning algorithm which groups an unlabeled datasets into a different clusters. It is an iterative algorithm that divides the unlabeled datasets into a k different clusters in such a way that each dataset belongs to only one group that has a similar properties. The algorithm takes an unlabeled dataset as an input, divides the datasets into a k number of clusters, and repeats the process until it does not find the best cluster. The value of k should be predetermined in this algorithm. As we can see in this diagram, before k means the data points are scattered and doesn't have any group. After k means it is grouped into properties with a similar. Now we are seeing how does the k-means algorithm work. Step 1. Select the number k to decide the number of clusters. Step 2. Select random k points or centers. Step 3. Assign each data point to their closest center, which will form the predefined k cluster. Step 4. Calculate the variance and place a new center of each cluster. Step 5. Repeat the step. Third step, which means reassign the each data point to the new closest center of each cluster. Step 6. If any reassignment occurs, then go to step 4. Let's go to fix. Step 7. The model is ready. Let's learn the working of K-means algorithm with example. We have the question, use the K-means algorithm and Euclidean distance to cluster the following 8 examples into a 3 clusters. As we can see, we have 8 to 8, A1 to A8, 8 data points with the value index. And as they instructed, we have to use the Euclidean distance formula. Distance formula D is equal to square root of x2 minus x1 the whole square plus y2 minus y1 the whole square. This is basically distance between the A and B as we have seen in the figure. As the first step, we have to take the centers. In this C1, C2, C3, everything is represents the centers. We have 3 centers, that is A1, A4 and A7. Then we have get into an iteration 1. We are using an Euclidean distance formula, that is a square root of x2 minus x1 the whole square plus y1 minus the y2 the whole square. By using this, we are going to see which has the smallest value. As we have seen here that cluster 1 has the smallest value, that is 0, so that A1 belongs to the cluster 1. Then same is repeated for the A2. As we can see here that cluster 3 has the smallest value, so the A2 is belongs to the cluster 3. In the A3, the centroid of 2 is has the smaller values, so that A3 is belongs to the cluster 3. In A4, it is belongs to the cluster 2, and A5 is belongs to the cluster 2. By using a Euclidean distance, we have found a new clusters. That is, cluster 1 has A1 in it, cluster 2 has A3, A4, A5, A6, A8 in it, and cluster 3 has A2 and A7 in it. We have to find the new clusters, centers of new clusters. That is, C1 is equal to 2, 10, and the C2 has 5 data points. So we have found the average from it, and 6, 6 is a new center, and the C3 is equal to 1.5 and 3.5. From this new clusters, we have plot the data points that as we can see, A1 is in cluster 1 and A7, A2 is belong to cluster 3 and A8, A4, A6, A5, A3 belong to the cluster 2, and the X marks represent the new centers. Now we are getting into an iteration 2. We are going to follow the same steps that we are followed in the iteration 1. As of that, we have obtained a new centroid, that is C1 has A1, A8, and C2 has A3, A4, A5, A6, and C3 has A2, A7. And with these, we have found the new centers, that C1 is equal to 3, 9.5, and C2 has 6.5 and 5.2, and C3 has 1.5 and 3.5. By this data points, we have plotted the points, that is A1 and A8 belong to the cluster 1, A7 and A2 belong to the cluster 3, and A4, A6, A5 and A3 belong to the cluster 2, and the X mark belongs to the centers. In iteration 3, we are going to follow the same methods we are followed in the previous 2 iterations. By that, we have obtained the 3 new clusters, that is C1 has A1, A4 and A8, and C2 has A3, A5 and A6, and 3 has A2 and A7. And we have found the 3 new centers, that C1 is equal to 3.66, 9, and C2 is 7, 4.3, and C3 is equal to 1.5, 3.5. By obtaining this we are plotting these points that A1, A8, A4 but belongs to the C1 and A7, A2 belongs to the C3 and A6, A5, A3 is belong to the C2. By plotting this, our calculation is coming to an end. Thank you for watching my presentation.